Hi, I'm Renee Baker, and I'm a professional Christmas caroler. As a matter of fact, I've been the founder and director of a large company of carolers for over 20 years. Christmas spirit, for me, has been a saving grace, a crown jewel in my life. It's buoyed me, and it's recharged my spiritual battery, even in some of the hardest of years. Today, I'd like to talk to you, maybe help you define or possibly rediscover what Christmas spirit really means to you. These days, I live and work in the New York City area, but I was raised in a pretty darn homogeneous town in the Midwest. Outside of the 2 Jews and 1 atheist I knew, pretty much everyone else was some sort of Christian, as far as I knew. But, even so, I remember our public school changing the name of our annual Christmas concert to something more inclusive, to Winter Concert. I don't remember anybody complaining about it back then. But increasingly through the years, I've been noticing a trend that I think does damage to the reputation of Christmas and locks up the spirit of the season, which, when unlocked and activated, has the potential to bring about so much peace and joy in the world. I recently read about an American town. They have their annual event. Let's call it the Christmas Stroll. Now, this town was very much like the one that I grew up in, but through the years, as happens with so many towns, it got to be much more diverse. And so the Chamber of Commerce, recognizing that fact and wanting everyone to feel included in this wonderful town event, decided to change the name to something like Winter Stroll. Well, several of the participating merchants got all up in arms. One of them said she was afraid that taking Christmas out of the name would change the whole theme. She said, there are carolers singing on the street and Christmas trees, and I'm afraid that if we take these things away, it's going to change everything. It's just going to be an ordinary festival. She was afraid. Another one said, if you can't celebrate Christmas, I'm not willing to support the event or the chamber. The chamber wants us to donate and sponsor a tree, but I will not. I will take a stand, and I will have Merry Christmas all over my store, inside and out. She's angry. So what's happening here? No one's saying they can't celebrate Christmas or carol. The town is not taking away the trees. In fact, the town is continuing the tradition of the trees and the sponsorship of them by the local merchants. But some of these same merchants who don't want to lose the trees are taking a stand and not sponsoring the trees. And you know what? Even if they did take the trees away, in my book, this is not the spirit of Christmas. When someone says, we need to save Christmas, I cringe. I say, Christmas doesn't need saving. You see, my caroling company is comprised of a very diverse group. Of course, I've got Christian carolers, but I've also got Jewish carolers, Buddhist carolers, at least 1 atheist carolers. I'm always going for more diversity, but here's the important thing. We all recognize a palpable spirit of the season. We love it. It fortifies us. We participate in it, and we even hold ourselves accountable to the hallmarks of it. Generosity, charity, connecting with people, being aware of their feelings and their needs, and including them in our joy. I am here to tell you that Christmas spirit is alive and well and transcending boundaries, and that's a good thing. Look, I get it. If we're Christian, the reason for the season, for us, is the birth of our Savior, and we are joyful about that. And let's admit it, we have our sentimental feelings from our childhoods about what Decembers looked like back then, and that includes hearing and seeing the word Christmas everywhere. These are what I call our spirit triggers. And it can feel weirdly disappointing or off kilter to have our triggers changed. But with migration happening everywhere, there are lots of people living among us that have different beliefs and traditions that are just as important to them as our traditions are to us. And it turns out that feeling bullied into saying Merry Christmas and celebrating it as the dominant winter holiday is kind of a killjoy for them. Is that what we want? For Christmas to kill their joy? Is that what Jesus wants? No! So, we have some work to do. First, we need to get in touch with our inner spirit chiropractor, make an adjustment that allows us to respect their beliefs and traditions and makes them feel more included in the spirit of the season. And that may mean that outside of our homes and places of worship, our spirit triggers may seem less effective. They may not be bringing us the same joy that they used to. The good news is that we can reset those triggers, but it takes being much more conscious. Conscious about what's really important to us about Christmas, and conscious about what our own personal spirit triggers are. Pine needles, smell of pine needles, holiday music, greeting cards that say Merry Christmas. So what's important to you? Let's take the word Christmas. It's a spirit trigger, but why is it so important to you? Is it that you want to keep Christ in Christmas? That's great. So let's reset that trigger. For instance, let's take the changing name of your town event. Is it that you feel that Christ is being taken away from that event? If so, then meditate on what you can do to bring the truer presence of Christ to that event through your actions and attitudes. Now, wouldn't that be a festival of lights? Christmas. It's just a word we like. I don't know about you, but I've never seen in the Bible where Jesus tells us to say Merry Christmas. Something he did say? Love one another. And I think that keeping Christ in Christmas is more about how we show love and compassion than how we give a holiday greeting or react to the government getting involved in our celebrations. You know why I think Christmas spirit transcends boundaries? I think it's because Christmas reminds us of the potential for joy and peace in the world. That's powerful. That's contagious. People want a piece of that. Christmas carols are a big trigger for me. So I was able to revive my spirit through the study of them. Legend has it, on Christmas Eve, 1871, during the fighting of the Franco-Prussian War, a French soldier jumped out of his trench, no weapons, looked at the sky, and started to sing Cantique de Noël, O Holy Night. He got through 3 verses when a German soldier jumped out of his trench and responded by singing, From heaven above to earth I come, and the fighting stopped. For 24 hours, the soldiers on both sides observed peace in honor of Christmas. Similar stories during the Civil War. They came together to sing Silent Night and observe Christmas together. Christmas spirit is not about the trappings of the season. It's about what ignites goodwill in us. Acting angry and fearful about stuff being taken away from us is not going to ignite goodwill. Let's not imagine that there's a war on Christmas, but let's remember that Christmas can stop wars in their tracks. Christmas is strong. It doesn't need saving. But the true spirit of Christmas has the potential to save us. A voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, Renae is such a great storyteller, and she really hones in on the true spirit of Christmas, and she embodies Christmas spirit. You can just see it in the way she talks, the way she carries herself, and I was just so impressed by what her message was. It's so relevant to today. Finding peace and joy, transcendence, diversity, great messages for everyone to hear.
Right when I wasn't going to order the Christmas caroling books for this year, trying to be inclusive and respectful and just cutting them out. Even though I've been Christmas caroling since I was 2 years old. That's when my mom started taking us caroling. After listening to Renae, how could I not but order even more? I want to find out so much more about her company because I really appreciate that she's using her voice, she's using her talent, skills, and ability to help us change a world who needs a positive spirit. We need such a positive spirit, and Renae has given us that. I'm ready to use my song to help ignite this season. Thanks, Renae.
Watching Renae talk about the real meaning and spirit of Christmas really brought me back to my childhood. It brought me to tears thinking about how in that morning I just wanted people to understand and feel the goodness that I felt, and I wanted to give that out to other people. And listening to her, it kind of inspired me to do something new this season and go out there and try to create peace wherever I can. It doesn't matter Christianity or any kind of religion, but to reach out and cross that divide and bring people together. She's just warm and funny and wonderful and has a beautiful voice, and she's wonderful. I love Renae.